ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Competition closing out for Team Bahamas yesterday at the Pan Am Games in Peru. Judo, the last discipline for the 242. Sasha Ingram taking to the mat in the 78-kilogram division. She lost to Gabrielle Wood from Trinidad. Now the Bahamas finishing 30th overall, tied with Aruba. One bronze medal won by Tania Gaither on the track in the women's 200 meters. Now we are joined tonight by B3H President Drumiko Archer. Drumiko, thank you for joining us tonight. And I have to ask you, is that the kind of performance you were expecting from the track and field squad? That was the largest discipline we had over there in Peru.
I was hoping for a better performance, but it doesn't surprise me. We feel the breath of a weakening program on our backs at the senior level. And so I always cringed when I thought about the performances, anticipating good results, but expecting some challenges in that area as well.
A lot of people always look to the relays, the Bahamas. Will we be there in Qatar? But I know you don't like to put all that emphasis on the relays.
Well, I think that the country expects that Bahamas is always present in relay competition. But I think a relay is only as good as the members. And so if you don't look at the relay from the perspective of the performance of individual athletes, then we totally misunderstand the concept of the strength of a relay team. Now, the fact of the matter is we understand that we have really one giant of all giants in the relay, on the relay pool. That would be Stephen Gardner, followed by Alonzo Russell, who is also a qualifier in the open 400 meters. But outside of that, we don't have the stellar performances as we would have had dating back to 2012. And so with bated breath, I say that we are developing a program, but I think that all fingers point right now to where we are in our elite high performance program, and I think that that's wanting.
And you were talking off camera about subvention. You think there needs to be a little shuffling around about how this subvention works?
I think that, without saying a whole lot about the subvention new plan, I will be meeting with my executives and we will be making strong recommendations to the Bahamas government about how we believe subvention should function. And quite frankly, the reality is that at our elite program, we are totally disconnected from the performances of our athletes. They show up at trials or they show up on competition day. We don't have minded management over that pool of athletes because most of them, perhaps 95% of them, train in the United States.
I know you want to get more athletes to train here at home, right?
I think that that's perhaps the best scenario, but that requires substantial investment in resources and identifying world-class coaches. One of the primary complaints that we would always get from our athletes is why would we come back to the Bahamas if we don't even have a proper weight facility? Right. When you compare the Bahamas to a Jamaica, who invest millions of dollars into their program, you see the very same thing happening in Trinidad and throughout the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. We find that the Bahamas has not kept pace with the expectations of our program.
And finally, I want to actually know Mike Sands was elected president of NACAC. How do you think that's going to help us here in the Bahamas?
I think that it's a most wonderful opportunity for us, but we have to take advantage of it. Mike Sands controls the entire region, North America, Central America, and the Caribbean region of track and field. And opportunities present themselves to us every day. Most recently, we were given the invitation, the informal invitation to host our senior NACAC championships next year, which would be a precursor or prelude to the Olympic Games. I think that it's a wonderful opportunity for the Bahamas. It's really a question of whether the Bahamas government has an appetite to host an event of this kind, but more importantly, whether corporate Bahamas also has the appetite to support an event of that kind. The strength of our program, I continue to reiterate, is based on the investment of the sport, and that's both corporate and government.
Well, Drumiko, it seems like you have a lot on the table, and we wish you all the luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Well, from the WNBA, Jonquel Jones and the Connecticut Sun now on a two-game road losing streak. They were dealt an 89-81 setback yesterday by the Las Vegas Aces. Jonquel just 3 of 11 from the field. She finished up with 8 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals in 29 minutes. The Sun closing out their 4-game road trip on Wednesday in Phoenix against the Mercury. Golden State Warriors assistant coach Chris DeMarco in town for the first time since taking over as head coach for our men's senior national basketball team. DeMarco will be on the sidelines as Team Bahamas takes on some of the top collegiate teams in the Summer of Thunder series. He spoke about why now is the right time for him to lead the 242.
I spent some time last summer with the team for the qualifiers, and it was great being around everybody. Felt really comfortable with the character of the staff and the players, and I just think there's a great opportunity here for all of us to grow and do something special together.
Now, with our national team consisting of players who are scattered all over the world, Coach DeMarco spoke about how he plans to make that work.
It's difficult. Right now, obviously, we're here playing against these teams next week, going into next week, and that's one way to do it. You know, whoever's here, we get some guys flying in as well, and then do that. Next summer, we're talking about doing it in the U.S. and Florida. But that's always the challenge with the money, like trying to fly people out, where they're going to stay, how we're going to eat, like all that stuff. But this is kind of what we're doing to try to build the program, see the talent that we have, strengthen that pool of players, and then kind of go from there. So if the top 5 guys can't be there, who are our next 5 guys? And so being here, this is my first chance to see everybody locally, some guys I haven't seen on film yet or live, and kind of see what they have and go from there.
Steve Barnes is the technical director for the Bahamas Basketball Federation, and with this job, he wears multiple hats.
Went to a seminar in Miami last year and learned many things. There's way more to it than I even realized. But a lot of stuff. I think the number one thing at the top of the list is caring. You got to care about the progression and getting the program better. So a lot of things that I was already paying attention to, just in the caring side and trying to do whatever I can do to help. But I've got more exactness about, you know, in essence, you're overseeing the program, you're reporting to the president, the general secretary of the national team about what it takes to improve the program at every aspect, from not only the seniors, but all the way down to the youth programs.
Now, having been around the program for the last 7 years, Barnes says he's been able to build a bond, and that should pay huge dividends moving forward.
I've gotten to know a lot of people, and I've got very good friends here. I've noticed that there's a lot of cooperation, and people really want the program to get better. And we're making a lot of strides, you know, with hiring Coach DeMarco, with hiring Coach Bain. We're doing some really good things, and there's a lot of cooperation, especially amongst the senior staff that works together on this. Mario Boleg coming in as president now. He's got his group, his council that advise him. You know, Eugene Horton is the first 5 president. You know, I speak with him constantly. Jarrell, the general secretary. You know, just a little bit of everybody about trying. Everybody has that common goal of making it better.
2 of our pro ball players on the move. Dwight Colby inking a deal yesterday to play in Estonia for BC Caleb Chromo. After playing college ball at Kansas, Ole Miss, and Western Kentucky, Colby started his pro career last year, splitting time between Belgium and Japan, where he played alongside his brother, Kadeem. As for Lyndon Rose Jr., he is signed to play in Finland with Perentino Tampere this summer. LJ with the Gold Coast Rollers in the Australian QBL. In 18 games, he averaged 12.7 points, 3.5 rebounds, 6.6 assists, and 1.4 steals per game. Last season, LJ, he was in Estonia with Valga Valka. He played in 6 games, averaging 14.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. Bahamian junior tennis player Anthony Burrows Jr. has captured a 3rd title in Great Britain, competing in the Under-16 East Summer County Tours Bovington and Flooding Club tournament. AJ seeded number 1, opening up against Merville Baptiste, where he won comfortably 4-3 in love. He then faced the 4th seed William Eckford, won in straight sets again 4-2 in love. In the final, he faced 2nd seed Marcus Weeks, won in impressive fashion once again 4-2. The tour is a series of grade 4 and 5 tournaments running throughout the summer. From the minor league baseball diamond yesterday, 2 Bahamians leading the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp past Mississippi 4-3. Jazz Chisholm a perfect 3 for 3, 2 doubles and an RBI. Anthony Seymour 3 hits as well in 5 plate appearances. He had a double and a run scored. Lucius Fox also 3 for 5, an RBI, 2-run scored for the Montgomery Biscuits. They blasted Birmingham 12-4. Chavez Young 1 for 4, Dunedin edging Bradenton 3-2. Deshaun Knowles 1 for 4 triple and a run scored, and Orange 3-2 escape against Missoula. As for Trent DeVoe, he was also 1 for 4 in the Arizona League. The Angels losing to the Giants 6-2. And that will do it for sports. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.